Here's another evidence for my civil rights case. I'm putting all of my city council meetings on here. And now what I have is on January 4th, 2022. This is a good one. And now Paul Ray right here, he gets involved in this one. Now, what he has done previously in a city council meeting, he spoke up about how he was at the Commodore banquet and how it was so lovely. And the Commodore's banquet for Boca Chica Yacht Club was done at the St. Pete Yacht Club. That's a real yacht club. The Boca Chica Yacht Club is just a drinking bunch of idiots, gray hairs, and it's not even a real yacht club. It costs $35 a month to be a member of this social club with a drinking problem. But what ended up happening is he spoke previously, and I'm looking for that on city council, Paul Ray, saying how him and his husband went to the Boca Chica Yacht Club Commodore meeting at the St. Pete and how lovely it was and the great people. And it turns out I was in the crowd when he was making that speech. And for 8 or 9 years, as I was a member, I couldn't afford to go to the banquet. It was $130 a ticket, I believe. So it ended up being above the maximum allowable. And what I have is records request where he talks about paying a $45 luncheon banquet out of his personal account, when in fact he went to the Commodore Boca Chica Yacht Commodore banquet meeting and didn't pay the fee that I couldn't afford for when I was a member there. It was, I believe, $130 per ticket. And that's what I was referring to. And that's where the bribery comes in, because I have records requests stating specifically this, explaining, no, that's not what I'm interested in. And he's covering up his taking of monies as a city council representative at a Boca Chica Yacht Club function, not paying for it, talking about it grandly here on city council. And then now he's trying to say he paid that $45 luncheon ticket was from 2 or 3 years before. He's covering up, he's lying, and he's voting on the city council, the Boca Chica Yacht Club's lease, and he's protecting them all along, and we know why. Anyway, let's get going with this speech here. I'm coming right up. Let's see. And again, I don't know how to edit. That's why I'm doing this way.
Public comment tonight. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. We'll go with a show of hands. Please give us your name and address if you're comfortable with it. And based on
Calls me out.
stuff, and I won't pretend I'm not singling you out, Mr. Rodriguez, I do want you to be aware we do have a microphone, and we do have some rules of decorum. I'm not going to restrict what you're allowed to say, but know that there are some differences in the rules when it comes to what you say about elected officials and when it comes to what you're allowed to say in terms of slander and defamation regarding city employees. So just be aware of that before you continue the way we've done in the past. I don't want you intimidating the crowd, screaming and yelling. We still have some rules of propriety. That being said, you got your 3 minutes.
Propriety, decorum. This guy does nothing but violence.
Okay, well, there's been a lot of things said.
Can I speak?
You can, but I'm going to say there's a lot of things said that we're requiring some evidence on if you're going to continue to say it before we
speak the truth is what I just said.
All right.
I don't understand that. Can you explain that for me?
It's your 3
No,
minutes.
I'm trying to understand what you're explaining to me. I don't understand what you just told me. This isn't my 3 minutes of speaking. I'm trying to understand what guidelines you're putting on my freedom of speech.
If you're up here, this is your 3 minutes, so please carry on.
My problem is with this city government not providing me sunshine law. What I have is multiple sunshine law violations.
You can hear that mayor grunt every time he gets frustrated.
Mr. Rodriguez, I'm going to encourage you to use the microphone because there's other people at home that are relying on this audio.
He's grunting into the microphone when he gets frustrated.
To the city council that I come here to speak to.
Mr. Rodriguez, you can conform to the rules of decorum.
Which is what, sir? I asked you. What are they?
I'm asking you to use the microphones.
All right, I would like to say that this microphone is something I don't need to speak for. I have a loud voice and can voice my opinion to this council. Now, my problem is sunshine law. Now, the problem I have is sunshine law was written by state of Florida as open transparency in government and honesty. And what I have is no transparency when it comes to this body involving Boca Chica Yacht Club. Now, I've asked Mr. Salzman in court, in the Pinellas County courtroom, for all the emails, which I've already made 3 requests for all the emails involving Ray Rodriguez. And Mr. Salzman told me to my face that he has no emails involving Ray Rodriguez, when in fact I have multiple emails from Dennis Frayne that made it to your office. I also have made requests for Jim O'Reilly to give me the emails involving Ray Rodriguez. Now, is there some reason why I
Cover
can't
up.
get the emails involving Ray Rodriguez from the two senior staff members and from Chief Vincent? I've made 15 requests under Sunshine Law in writing, which is 15 violations of Sunshine Law and transparency
I'm
with
up
this
to
government
33
about emails
requests
about Ray Rodriguez.
from Chief
Why
Vincent.
is I'm
He's
not able to
covering
get
up.
emails from Mr. Salzman about Ray Rodriguez, from Mr. O'Reilly about Ray Rodriguez, and Chief Vincent about Ray Rodriguez? There seems to be a problem with Ray Rodriguez, and you just brought me out in front of this meeting before the meeting even started. And Mr. Ray, I've made 3 requests for you to provide me with the bribery information I made for you. Christine Brown, I've also made 5 requests with you. I hope you can answer those 5 requests that are the same
family
questions
business
I
for
have for
decades.
you.
City
There's
property.
violation of Sunshine Law going here, and that's a violation of law. Violation of Sunshine Law is a 3rd-degree felony. And I look forward to your quip and grig and smiles, Mr. Henderson, because you know business financials, if you don't understand that,
He's an
involve
idiot.
from Boca Ciega Yacht Club the profit and loss statement, tax returns.
He's a bartender.
The IRS investigated
before he
Boca Ciega
became a
Yacht
mayor.
Club, and I want everybody to
bully.
know Boca Ciega Yacht Club is the root of all of my problems. Thank you.
Good night, Mr. Rodriguez.
I hope Chief Vincent can give
Good
me
night,
my
Mr.
Sunshine Law
Rodriguez.
request. Give me my Sunshine Law request.
All right, I'm had it with this guy, Andy.
This is a
what he
violation of
allowed
decorum right here.
to come in here and do?
They
He's
can't
defaming
speak
people,
during
he's
public.
slandering people. We here, as a group, we're
You
not
have
as
decorum.
protected.
Not slander if
You
it's
have
the truth.
Decorum requirements. The violation
Yeah.
of decorum requirements can ban him from being here. He doesn't have the right to just come
Idiot.
and show up and violate your.
I mean, he's making accusations
First
about
Amendment.
bribery to one council person. I mean, at what
Yep.
point does this guy have to show some shred
I can
of
prove
evidence or pursue other action other than
Federal
coming
court.
in here and
All of
saying
these
the
people are
things
getting
he says
subpoenaed.
without any shred of proof?
He can be trespassed. He can be noticed of cease and
Yep.
desist.
Did
we
that,
talked
did
about
that.
Before that you all adopted. This is an
Illegal.
example of those things, making accusations that he knows are defamatory and
Nope,
false.
they're the truth.
I mean, he's already.
I mean,
At what
He's
point-
given
at
it,
what
we've
point
given
can
him
we
every
take action?
public record
Yeah.
that we've had so many times.
At what point can we take action against him? Is my question.
Whatever
Counsel?
council wants to
Now.
direct us, we
Now.
can go
ooh, they're
forward.
I've
mad.
I've had
See?
it.
Cease
Now,
and desist
now.
and move forward from there.
I want my family
He's
thieving
made
business.
multiple accusations. He's making accusations against council members.
Yep.
Against city
Truth.
employees, public
Yep.
safety. You guys are charter
Safety,
employees. He
oh.
brings nothing to the table to demonstrate there's any truth in what he says.
I'm taking it to court. I'll see you in court. No,
I'm done.
First
Anybody
Amendment
on council
moron
chooses not
there.
to pursue action against Mr. Rodriguez for how he's handling himself.
Does this also include when he approaches staff outside of this room, or is it only for this room?
I don't know. That'll be for.
It'll be a
tell us.
broader cease and desist. I mean, he doesn't have the right to harass or try
there's
to
no
intimidate
harassment.
people.
I'm speaking
Would
First
he
Amendment
still be able
protected.
to come if he didn't do that?
Yes.
That's all I'm
And
asking.
you know, and a perfect example is Mayor Aston to just follow the decorum, speak into the microphone and address you all, which is your normal protocol. We've had people turn before and speak to the audience, but this is, consistent, not following your procedure. So
Yeah,
we'll go ahead and we'll draft that.
Well, my apologies to anybody here for hollering too. So
We need a motion.
I think you
believe
just need
we have
consensus. Correct?
consensus.
So we're
And
gonna-
so the
we're
city
gonna-
manager and I will.
I want to be
take care
real
of that.
clear though. Is there anyone who doesn't want to do that? I am in favor of. We are going to continue public comment as soon as this is over. I promise. So, who's in favor of pursuing action? Whatever Mr. Saltzman chooses to bring back and pursuing some sort of action.
He violated my civil rights by sending me a cease and
Now,
desist
public
letter.
comment
It's
is
in
wide
my
open again for
filings.
Everybody else who came here to speak.
Giggling idiots.
Yes.
This is interesting.
I'm Lee Stupella. I'm a Gulfport resident. Apropos what you just took a consensus vote on, I'm not sure you really, with your rules, want to do that during public comment. But in any event, you sit here tonight and each week in a proud tradition that is 2023 years old. You sit here as current members of the Old Roman Forum, the counselors that met to govern the empire, and it has come down virtually unchanged for centuries. And you have your decorum rules, which actually don't allow you to take consensus vote during public session because you don't have in your decorum rules conversations amongst yourselves about what we speak about. But counsel is correct. Historically and through the Supreme Court, there's like a beam me up, Scotty, cone here of federal privilege, not state, not county, and not local, but federal privilege to the speakers. And things as obnoxious as the Nazi salute have been allowed at the podium. But your esteemed city clerk presented you with written guidelines, and people can say pretty much all they want to say according to the decorum rules. And as a member of the First Amendment Foundation and for my newspaper, I was the sunshine officer for the newsroom decades
She
ago.
was directly
I have an
involved
extensive
in the
file.
previous city clerk
But
getting
your counsel
fired
is
for
correct.
violating records
Decorum
requests. So
is
this
how
clerk
you govern
was
your
brought on
meetings.
after
Now,
she
people
got the
have been allowed
previous
via the
clerk
Supreme
fired.
Court to yell, but invective and defamation, those are not things that meet your criteria for decorum. So when you,
Hear him grunting like a
outside
snorting
of
pig.
this council
Mayor, he's
room,
got his
get
nose
together
up
with
on
your
that.
attorney, all you
Every
have
time
to
he gets
do
frustrated,
is
he grunts
enforce
into that
the
thing.
rules that your city clerk has already
I find
promulgated
that
for you.
humorous.
This cone of federal privilege doesn't extend
Constitution,
to
First Amendment.
some of the content that has gone on here. And you
These
would
guys
be
are
well
just
advised to
violating.
take your attorney's advice about how to control that. As a taxpayer, we shouldn't have to listen to this.
Bravo.
Thank you. Ms. Love.
Have ultimate approval.
Here we go.
All right.
I moved it forward.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
City Attorney.
No report.
City Clerk.
No report, Mayor.
All right. Before we move on to consent, I'd like to apologize for being the guy up here who's supposed to keep his cool and yelling when I'm basically asking someone not to yell. I can take
He's been a
the
bully.
heat. I think everybody up here has proved they can take in the heat with something being said about them.
He was a
But when
bully as a
somebody
bartender.
says, things that are patently untrue about the people who work for us, I mean, the kind of people that get in touch with me between Christmas and New Year's and want to talk about whether we need to do more outreach to people for one
But here we got Paul
humanitarian
Ray
cause
coming
or
up
another
to
during a time
seal
when they
his.
can be home with their families, not
his-
thinking about.
He's going to lie
this place
straight
one
up on the
little bit.
council because there's
That
multiple
upsets me.
emails and
So I
already
apologize
before
for
this
losing my cool.
explained.
If
No,
that's the
that's
only time
not
I do it
the
this year, then
meeting I'm
we got
talking about. I'm talking about the
360
Commodore.
more days to go. I'll get it out of the way.
3 or 4
early, but,
emails
that being said,
discussing that with
City
him
Clerk,
and the
consent
clerk
agenda,
about
please.
this coming up.
5A,
I'd like to say one thing regarding that whole. He called me out and said that I was something that was bribery, and what that was
Commodore's
that
banquet.
he had requested information about the BCYC. What do they call that? From 3 years ago that I went to, that I purchased the ticket from. I paid for it.
Liar.
I submitted the information to Leslie.
I'll provide
That's
the
from my bank
emails
account,
documenting prior to
and
this
the email
what we were
from
talking about.
Adam
He
and
knows
the
exactly what I'm talking
So,
about.
he keeps going
Straight
on about
up.
that. He's already been given that information by us.
Not
so
slander
I want
if
to clear
it's the
that
truth.
because that's just besmirching my name, and he had no right to do that.
I'm going to play that
5A,
back
consider
over.
approval of the council meeting
Just to
minutes
make
on
sure we
November
got that
16th,
right.
2021.
I'll make a motion on the consent.
I can take the heat. I think everybody up here has proved they can take in the heat with
I'm
something
not going
being
to
said
speak
about
when
them.
Paul Ray's
But
speaking.
when somebody says things that are
Paul
patently
Ray
untrue
is his name.
about the people who work for us, I mean, the kind of people that get in touch with me between Christmas and New Year's and want to talk about whether we need to do more outreach to people for one humanitarian cause
And
or
I'll
another.
put that video up
during
of
a time
him
when they can be
talking
home with their
about
families,
the
not thinking about
Commodore's
this
banquet,
place one little bit.
which
that
was
upsets me.
in
So I
December
apologize for
timeframe,
losing my cool. If that's the
which
only
was
time I
just a
do it
couple of
this
weeks
year,
prior, I
we got
believe it was.
361 good days to go.
Again,
I'll get it out of the way. early.
It might have
That
been the
being said,
previous year, but
City
this has
Clerk,
been
consent
going on
agenda,
for a
please.
while. But I'll pull the
5A.
emails up, and I got a
I'd
video
like
up.
to say one thing regarding that whole. he called me out and said that I was something that was bribery. And what that was that he had requested information about the BCYC, what do they call that? From 3 years ago? That I went to, that I purchased the ticket from, I paid for it, I submitted the information to Leslie. That's from my bank account, and
Leslie,
the email
City
from them and the receipt. So, he keeps going on
Cover
about that.
up.
He's already been given that information
Nope.
by us. So I
Nope.
want to clear that because that's just besmirching my name, and he had no right to do that.
Bribery, Boca Chica Yacht Club. And Boca Chica Yacht Club is allowed to make political contributions as a 503c7, which is the only one in Gulfport. All the others are 503cs. Are not able to contribute to political contributions. But Boca Chica Yacht Club is able to, and these guys just keep covering up where the money is going and who's getting it. See ya.